For those of you who are regular viewers of the channel, you know that I also like to send out emails. And many of you are reading those emails, you're receiving those emails, you're responding back. And I wanted to share one of the important emails I wrote recently, and it is about like leaving your parents. And I think how people are sometimes having difficulty in order to like move abroad. Like, what is the biggest reason essentially? And here I'm not villainizing the parents, but it is still a very important topic that you should understand because could be one of the reasons why you are not able to move abroad yet. Now, I want to share this email with you. If you want to also receive my emails, you can sign up with the link given below and you can receive the emails regularly. I like to talk about topics which are actually hindering your process of making a change in your life, going somewhere where you want to go, changing a new job, things like that. And I've heard from students that these emails have motivated them to take the next step. So maybe it has the same effect on you. So I'm going to read this email to you and I'm going to add some information from where I was coming from. I've spoken to thousands of Indian students. You see, all these students really want to do big things in life. They all want to go abroad for studies, find a good job, settle down there, and live a great life. And if you really think about it, like this is also the biggest problem that we have in India right now. You are always trying to get pushed to the next stage, to the next stage, to the next stage. कोई नहीं 10th नहीं हुई 12th में अच्छे ग्रेड्स लेना है 12th नहीं हुई तो भाई इसके बैचलर्स में अच्छे ग्रेड ज़रूरी हैं बैचलर्स नहीं तो मास्टर्स में अच्छे ग्रेड ज़रूरी हैं मास्टर्स नहीं हुई तो भाई PhD मतलब दिस जस्ट नेवर एंड्स एंड दिस इज व्हाट आई फाइंड रियली नर्व रैकिंग क्योंकि आदमी कब तक मतलब मेहनत करते रहे भाई तुम अपना 9वीं से लेके 12वीं तक सिर्फ एक कमरे में बंद करके पढ़ रहे हो 9वीं से 12वीं की चीज़ बहुत कमाल की थी क्योंकि उस टाइम पे ये सिस्टम था कि एक कंपटीशन था कि कौन कितना ज़्यादा रूम में बंद रह के पढ़ सकता है वो चीज़ मेरे को कभी समझ नहीं आया यार 9वीं से 12वीं मतलब दीज आर वन ऑफ द गोल्डन ईयर्स ऑफ योर लाइफ एंड we just like completely missed it. Like I at least completely missed it. Like I don't really have any good memories from that time. That's the problem that I find here. That like if you are able to kind of like could have done these things differently, like what many people do really nicely abroad. Like they're traveling around in these years, they're building their hobbies, they're trying to figure out what their interests are and so on. There's a lot less pressure in like clearing an exam, getting a rank and things like that. So I think that's where it fits. But what are these obstacles exactly? Money problems, sure. Almost every middle class family struggles with this. But there are options to deal with it, such as student loans and scholarships, lack of information, lack of guidance. Well, there definitely is a solution for that. This is why Big Academy exists. And this is also the reason why I created the courses and everything that I made. For studying in Germany, for learning German. And the German courses are the cheapest courses that you can find, which are structured in a way which help you actually prepare for the GUT exam. No other course on the internet is priced at this level, which is going to actually prepare you for the German exam, for the Goethe exam, and which is built together with a native German speaker. However, there is a really serious obstacle that is stopping many students. You know what it is? Parents. Yes, you read that right. Parents. Now, I'm not villainizing parents as evil people who stop their kids from going abroad, although this happens in many cases where parents force the kids to take up a normal course in a normal college and do not allow them to pursue their dreams. जो मैं ये चीज़ लिखे ऐसा तो नहीं है कि मतलब होता ही नहीं है बिल्कुल भी कितने सारे हमने केसेस देखे हैं जिसके अंदर स्टूडेंट्स कुछ करना आता है मैंने केसेस देखे हैं जहाँ पे स्टूडेंट्स को एक तरीके से फोर्स किया जा रहा है कि भाई तुम जो है गवर्नमेंट एग्जाम की तैयारी करो एक आदमी 5 साल से UPSC की तैयारी कर रहा था और उसका मन था नहीं बिल्कुल भी उसका मन था बाहर जाने का हुआ क्या रिजल्ट 5 साल तक UPSC की तैयारी करी 5 साल निकला भी नहीं टाइम भी वेस्ट हुआ जिंदगी वेस्ट हुई और उसके बाद जो है फिर आदमी सोचे बाद में यार ठीक है 5 साल वेस्ट हो गए एंड में आदमी दुखी होके वही काम कर लेता है जो उसका करने का मन होता है ठीक है जब यूँ हो जाता है कि ठीक है मेरे को तो एक तरीके से किसी और चीज़ में कोई पर्पस दिख ही नहीं रहा तब आदमी ये काम करता है पर उस टाइम तक तो सारा टाइम वेस्ट हो गया ना तुम्हें पता नहीं चलता कई बार कि लाइफ कितनी जल्दी से जा रही है और जो तुम्हारे जो बहुत प्रेशियस एक तरीके से ईयर्स है ना वो निकलते जा रहे हैं क्योंकि तुम वो काम कर रहे हो जो तुम्हारा करने का मन नहीं है पर किसी ने तुम्हें फोर्स कर रखा है कि भाई तुमने करना है आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द सिचुएशन वेयर चिल्ड्रन आर हेजिटेटिंग टू लीव देयर पेरेंट्स और ये जो है दूसरा सिनेरियो है ठीक है देखो तीन टाइप की कैटेगरी है पहली कैटेगरी है जिसमें पेरेंट्स ने तुम्हें बहुत इंडिपेंडेंट रखा हुआ है तुमने जो करना है तुम वो करो पर गलत काम करोगे तो पिटाई भी होगी बिल्कुल सही चीज़ है मेरे को उसमें कोई हेजिटेशन नहीं है दूसरा है जिसमें पेरेंट्स एक तरीके से आदमी मतलब बच्चे की विल को डेवलप ही नहीं होने देते बिल्कुल भी कि मतलब तुझे ये करना है वो करना है उसको समझ ही नहीं आता कि यार मैं बिना पेरेंट्स से पूछे कुछ चीज़ कर ही नहीं सकता वो दूसरा सिचुएशन है और इसी सिचुएशन में तीसरा क्या आता है इतनी ज़्यादा डिपेंडेंस कि बच्चा कुछ भी काम खुद से ना कर पाए सोच ही नहीं सके ठीक है, क्योंकि इसमें एक डायरेक्शन तो थी कि यार उसकी कोई विल है, उसका कुछ करने का मन है और पेरेंट्स ने मना कर दिया। दूसरी डायरेक्शन थी कि यार उसको ये समझ ही नहीं आ रहा कि उसको करना क्या है बिना पेरेंट्स से पूछे। तो ये दोनों कैटेगरीज बहुत ज़्यादा डेंजरस हैं। और बहुत जगह ना यार बाहर जाके लोगों से बात करोगे तो लोगों को इन स्टीरियोटाइप्स का भी पता है कि मतलब इंडियन जो लड़के हैं स्पेशली, वो मतलब बिना पेरेंट्स से पूछे कोई चीज़ नहीं करते। पर इसमें हमारी गलती है क्या यार? एक बात बताओ, हम तो बच्चे थे, हमें तो किसी ने बताया नहीं, जो भी हमने सुना वैसे देख देख के हमने आगे चीज़ें करी। हमारा तो कोई फॉल्ट है नहीं इसके अंदर। इसमें जो लोग डेवलप कर पाए वो ठीक है, कुछ लोग इसलिए बाहर आके अपना कैरेक्टर डेवलपमेंट बहुत मतलब 180 डिग्री का अंतर होता है उनमें। तो बहुत इंट्रोवर्टेड होंगे, बहुत शाय होंगे, और बाहर आके मतलब एक तरीके से बिल्कुल मतलब 180 का चेंज। मुझे याद है जब मैं हॉस्टल मूव कर रहा था अपना बैचलर्स फर्स्ट ईयर में, तब आदमी कितने साल का होता है? मेरे ख्याल 17 साल का होता है। अब 17 साल की उम्र में पहली बार तुम्हें एक्सपीरियंस हो रहा है कि अकेले से रहने का। चलो ठीक है, मेरे को तो स्टार्टिंग का मुझे तो पूरा एक सेमेस्टर लगा एक तरीके से एडजस्ट होने में। नहीं तो मेरा होता था कि मैं हमेशा पहले सेमेस्टर तो मैं हमेशा जब भी वीकेंड होता था अपना बस पकड़ी मैं घर चला गया। हमारे साथ भी स्टूडेंट्स थे जो बहुत आसानी से मतलब इंडिपेंडेंटली रह पा रहे थे। ठीक है, एम्बेरसिंग चीज़ है, पर मैं उन स्टूडेंट्स में से नहीं था। मेरे को मतलब स्टार्टिंग में बहुत दिक्कत हो रही थी अकेले से रहने में। पर ये जो स्टूडेंट एक तरीके से जो हॉस्टल लाइफ थी ना, वो बहुत ज़रूरी थी इस हेजिटेशन को थोड़ा मिटाने के लिए। अगर हॉस्टल लाइफ नहीं होती तब तो बाहर जाके भी कुछ नहीं बनता। ठीक है, तो तुम्हें कुछ ना कुछ पहला एक स्टेप चाहिए होता है जिससे तुम्हारी ये हेजिटेशन सारी की सारी रिमूव हो। क्योंकि देखो, अनकंफर्टेबल सिचुएशन होती है ना, तभी आदमी ग्रो करता है। जब किसी सिचुएशन में ना तुम्हें बिल्कुल मज़ा नहीं आ रहा, अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, पर तुम्हें पता है वो तुम्हारी ये सिचुएशन तुम्हारे लिए ज़रूरी है और तुम इससे निकल जाओगे तो इट इज़ गोइंग टू बी बेटर फॉर यू। और पता है एक और इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है, ऐसा नहीं होता कि तुम्हें एक स्पेसिफिक टाइम लिमिट पूरी करनी होती है। तुम्हें जो है 4 साल अकेले रहना ताकि तुम बहुत मतलब बढ़िया एडवांस्ड तरीके से इंडिपेंडेंटली लाइफ जी सको, नहीं। अगर तुम 6 महीने भी जियोगे ना अकेले से, 3 महीने भी, तो ऑल ऑफ दीज हैव पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट्स ऑन हाउ इंडिपेंडेंटली यू कैन लिव योर लाइफ। So this is something I find really interesting. Especially in Indian families, most kids, even in their late 20s, are living a life that is dictated by their parents. And I know this from my personal experience. The average household in India is made of a family where the child strictly obeys what the parents say. And this is also true. Like if you would think about like a typical student, especially the student who is like, hardworking, in the sense like, he's good at grades and things like that, like he generally ends up being a student who is really doing everything that the parents are saying. I mean, you have exceptions here and there, right? Like you have the exception of a completely free spirit, but like that is an exception and that is not really the typical thing that you end up seeing in India. बेटा साइंस स्ट्रीम चूज कर लो, बेटा डॉक्टर इंजीनियर बनो, बेटा इस लड़की को शादी कर लो. दिस इज हाउ द चाइल्डहुड ऑफ एन एवरेज इंडियन किड गोज. नॉट द चाइल्डहुड बट लाइक द चाइल्डहुड टू द एडल्ट साइड, राइट? क्योंकि शादी का भी ऐसा होता है बहुत बार, मतलब पेरेंट्स से डिसाइड करके बोलते हैं कि भाई ठीक है, ऐसे शादी करनी है, उससे शादी करनी है. इवन आफ्टर वी आर फुली ग्रोन एडल्ट्स, वी सीक आवर पेरेंट्स गाइडेंस एंड अप्रूवल. Why do you think that is the case? It is because they're older than us. If that was true, we would be seeking the approval of every adult who is the same age as our parents. But no, we don't do that. We actually despise other adults of our parents' age who try to interfere in our lives. You know, those types of uncles and aunties I'm talking about, right? This is an interesting concept because I was watching one of the videos from Jordan Peterson, and he was like essentially talking about like what is the reason why you're still seeking the approval of your parents and not of the peripheral people around it, so your relatives and like parents, friends, and so on who are in the same age.
You care more about what your parents think than you care about what these peripheral people who know your parents think? Why is it the case that you would consider that they would know more than someone else? I mean, I know they know you better, and fair enough, but that's not the point.
And you can say that like, okay, but these are not our family or something, or like, these are not our people. But at the same time, for other people, your parents are not going to be the same. But like, how is your parents' opinion better than somebody else's opinion? It is also possible that somebody else's opinion factually is better than your parents' opinion. So how do you make a distinction there? Like, why do you want to please one people over the next other people? So that was a very interesting idea that I read there. So we do everything under their guidance. They protect us from all the bad things. They really make life easy for us. But once you reach a certain age, once they reach a certain age, things change. You will start to realize that your parents are not actually the know-it-all saints as the childhood you believe. तो कभी कभी देखो, अगर मेरे को ऑनेस्टली याद है जब बैचलर स्टार्ट होती है ना, बैचलर्स के टाइम पे, बल्कि 12वीं के टाइम पे भी ऐसे मतलब सिनेरियोज होते हैं जिसमें मतलब यू आर गोइंग टू again ask your parents for an opinion or something, but you will realize they don't really know anything better than you do at that stage, right? क्योंकि देखो तुमने सारी की सारी चाइल्डहुड ऐसे स्पेंड किया होता है कि ठीक है, मतलब पहली क्लास से लेकर 10वीं क्लास 8वीं क्लास जो भी है उसमें तुमने कुछ भी पूछा अपने पेरेंट्स से, उनके पास कोई ना कोई आंसर होगा। एक स्टेज के बाद आके तुम्हें समझ आना स्टार्ट होगा, अरे यार, इनको मतलब एक तरीके से इतना आइडिया नहीं है सारी चीज़ों का जितना मतलब मेरे को लगता था। And that is a harsh awakening for many students who were like really depending on it, right? Like some students get that awakening even later in life. Then you don't know what to do. Like, then you don't know whom to ask for opinions, you don't know whose advice to listen, and so on. And that is a very, very nerve wracking moment for many. Instead, they are just ordinary people who have struggled a lot in their lives, ordinary people who have made a lot of mistakes in their lives. They actually don't know what exactly they should do. This is a moment where we see our parents grow old. We see them lose their strength and their energy day by day. From them taking care of you, you actually reach a point where you feel you should be taking care of them. And this is something that none of us is ready to accept, because to our parents, we are always kids. But the harsh reality of life is, after a certain point of time, you're alone. There's nobody to hold your hand and walk you down the path. More responsibilities, more commitments, more challenges. Life quickly gets a lot more serious. Now, you should look at yourself in the mirror and ask this question: am I ready to take care of my parents? Am I in a position to be independent and look after them without any worries? For most Indian students in their 20s, the answer is no. And I'm talking about this not just from the financial point of view, right? Like, it's very important to understand that. Like, I'm talking about this from the point of view that you have to develop your own will, you have to develop your own character, you have to start taking decisions, you have to start making mistakes. If you don't do any of these things, your character simply never develops. Like, a character is developed when you end up taking decisions, you end up making mistakes, and then you end up correcting those mistakes. And that's how you start building this independent character, this independent persona with which you're able to do a lot more things in life. You become somebody whom other people can rely on. Because right now, till the moment, you're still seeking your parents' approval for every single thing that you're trying to do, and you don't understand what to do yourself. Like, every single time somebody asks, "Beta, aaj khane mein kya khana hai?"
You're like, huh? And yeah, I need to ask my mother first.
So this is something you should really think about, because they're still in the comfort zone of their parents' shadows. But you cannot stay there long, because the sun is setting down slowly. And you need to be a more responsible, independent adult. You need to build a life good enough for you to take care of your parents. That will never happen if you're permanently stuck in the 30-yard comfort zone of your life. I realized this quite early in life, which is what motivated me to leave my home. I knew that if I just sat there eating food that my parents put on the table, I would never grow. I would never be mature. I decided to explore new challenges, better opportunities. This hunger is what brought me to Germany. And look at me now. I'm bringing my parents over here, traveling the world with them, and having the best time of our lives. Well, this is a photograph of not from Germany, but from India, where I was there, Alina, my grandparents, my parents, and we just make a nice fire, and we are like sitting in the evening speaking and drinking tea and so on. There's something I find absolutely lovely, like this time of life where I don't have to, like, rely on them financially or to make decisions and so on, where like there's clearly a stage where I essentially know things um, by myself, what to do, what next steps to take, and so on. And I'm 29, right? And I'm telling you, there are people who are 35, who are 40, who still do not have the courage, which is what I find sad also on part of the parents, that they simply also did not know anything better, right? I was speaking to my father recently, and he was like, I was telling him, like, maybe you should have like interfered a little bit less in school. And I was like just being open, because every single time I would say, like, this teacher like did something, this teacher said something, like my father would like go and speak to the teacher, and I feel like that was not the right approach, of course, like on my behalf anyways, because I was the one who was like complaining on my father's behalf. I can totally understand that he wanted to kind of protect and like make sure that this nonsense doesn't happen again. But in the end, I feel like, if those things wouldn't have happened, and I would have learned to realize that there are some people in life who are not nice to you and who are going to do things which are unfair, then for me, growing up in life and like, becoming mature would have been a little bit easier. But my father said, like, we were also parents for the first time. Nobody also trained us to become parents. And that is a very important fact that you guys should remember. Your parents also never got the training how to be parents. They also learned this from their own parents and their own parents and their own parents and so on. The things that you see now are somehow unfortunately going on generationally, and it is really moment to kind of like understand it and realize that this is not really for your own good. It is extremely important for kids to develop their own will. It is extremely important for you to be independent, think for yourself, make mistakes, and have the courage to correct them afterwards. Today, I'm in a place where I can really take care of my parents. How did I get there? Because I left that comfort zone in the first place. Greetings, Bharat. So that was the email I sent out. I hope that email also made you think about a few things, because otherwise you just keep on going through life on autopilot. You never understand what is going on, what is happening with you. Soon you blink and you become a 45-year-old man who is married and who has children and who has responsibilities, but you simply never know how you got there. Now you cannot change things, but like you can make sure that the things are going to be different for your children. So that is something you should be thinking about. That was it. I will see you in the next video.